The arena lights blinked again and again, just like a heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. The music was super loud. Bright lights danced across the crowd. Everyone was standing, yelling, and cheering. Big cameras flew around, showing happy, shouting fans. Then came Rex, the juggernaut Maddox. He was huge. His muscles looked like boulders. He looked like a superhero. No, a wrestling god. Rex walked to the ring like he owned the whole world. He ripped off his shirt and held up his golden championship belt. The crowd screamed even louder. "Nobody outshines the juggernaut," he shouted like a lion. Lights followed him as he walked around the ring ropes. He flexed his muscles and smirked. People chanted his name, Rex, Rex, Rex. He looked so proud. This was his moment. Everyone was looking at him. But then, boom. The big screen on top of the arena, the Jumbotron, cracked with light. The music stopped. The announcer's voice shouted over the speakers, "Please welcome tonight's surprise guest, action hero Jason Statham." The crowd exploded like fireworks. Boom. People jumped out of their seats. Everyone looked at the front row. There sat Jason Statham. He wore a black hoodie with the hood up. His face was calm and serious. He didn't wave. He didn't smile. He just gave one cool little nod. That was it. No shouting. No dancing. Just Jason being Jason. And guess what? Everyone went crazy. Teens near the front row jumped and screamed, "Jason! Jason!" The chant got louder and louder. "Jason! Jason! Jason!" It echoed through the whole building. People held up their phones. They didn't care about Rex anymore. The cameras turned away from the ring. They pointed at Jason. Rex looked confused. His spotlight was gone. The cheers weren't for him now. They were for Jason. Rex's face got red. His jaw got tight. His hands made fists. He was mad. Super mad. He grabbed a microphone and stomped to the ropes. "You think that guy is a real hero?" he yelled. "I own this ring." Then he jumped down and walked straight toward Jason. He was so angry. He didn't care about the fans or the cameras. He went right up to Jason and shouted, "Get up, movie star. Prove you're not just a script with muscles." Jason didn't move. He just sat there, quiet and cool. The crowd screamed again, even louder. And finally, Jason stood up. He didn't say anything. He just looked at Rex. The challenge was on. Lights inside the arena flashed red, white, and gold. It looked like fireworks inside. 20,000 people were cheering like wild. The place was filled with energy. Teenagers leaned over the fence, trying to get closer. They were filming with shaky phones. Vendors ran up and down the stairs, throwing t-shirts into the crowd. Lasers zipped through the fog above the ring. Tonight was called the Legend Showdown. Everyone thought it was about Rex. They came to see him. And when his entrance music played, the crowd roared again. "Here comes the juggernaut," yelled the announcer. Rex burst out of the tunnel. He was sweating and fired up. His arms were wide open. His eyes looked like fire. He had his golden championship belt on his shoulder. He stomped down the ramp, flexing and yelling. He climbed into the ring like a king entering his castle. He stood on the ropes and raised his fists. Flash, flash, flash. Cameras blinked like stars. People shouted his name. Rex, Rex, Rex. But Rex wanted more. He wanted everything. He grabbed the mic from the announcer. "This ring belongs to real men. Fighters. Legends," he shouted. "There ain't a soul alive who can take my spotlight." The fans cheered. But then, boom. The lights dimmed again. Crackle. The Jumbotron flickered. The speakers made a popping sound. Then the voice came again. And now, a special guest appearance from a global action icon. Jason Statham. The lights lit up the front row. There he was again, Jason Statham. He was just sitting there. Hoodie up. Hat low. Arms crossed. Legs wide. No smile. No wave. Just sitting quietly. But somehow, He looked powerful. And the crowd went wild. Way louder than for Rex. The whole place shook. Jason. 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 Phones came out. Cameras turned. The announcers couldn't believe it. It's him. It's Jason Statham, one said. A group of teens in the front row lost their minds. It's Stam. It's Stam. Rex stood frozen in the ring. He looked at Jason. His spotlight was gone. His big moment? Stolen. Then it got worse. A kid near the front cupped his hands and yelled, "Hey Rex. Stam's the real hero." People around him laughed and clapped. Rex's eyes burned. He was breathing hard now. He was madder than ever. Everyone was looking at Jason, not him. The chants weren't Rex anymore. They were Jason. And Rex snapped. He jumped out of the ring like a charging bull. The mic was still in his hand. He pushed past the security guards. He marched straight toward Jason. Jason stayed calm. He didn't blink. The crowd got even louder. Jason. 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 Rex leaned over the railing. His voice growled into the mic. "You think you're the hero now? You steal my moment? Sit there like a king." Jason didn't move. Rex leaned in closer. "Why don't you get off your Hollywood chair and prove you're not just a script with muscles?" Then Rex turned to the camera. "Let's give the people what they want. You versus me. Right here. Right now." The whole place went silent. Everyone waited. Then Jason stood up. No words. Just stood. He looked straight at Rex. The crowd cheered louder than ever. Jason. 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 Some people waved their arms. Some fans jumped up and slapped the barricades. Phones flashed everywhere. Jason slowly looked toward the ring. Then he took off his hoodie. One smooth move. He folded it and handed it to a security guard. Underneath, he wore a black t-shirt. No logos. No pictures. Just black. Just muscles. Just quiet power. He climbed over the barricade. His boots hit the ground, boom. The arena felt it. He walked up the steel steps, slow and steady. Then he paused at the ropes. Rex was inside the ring, bouncing up and down. He was smiling, but his eyes looked nervous. Jason ducked through the ropes, and the roof nearly flew off the arena. Ding ding. The bell rang. Rex didn't wait. He charged. Wham. Rex's shoulder smashed into Jason's ribs. Jason flew into the corner, hitting the turnbuckle hard. "Oi ch, gasped the crowd. Rex grabbed Jason's shirt and threw him across the ring like a rag doll. Bam. Jason hit the ropes and bounced back. Rex ran forward and slammed his forearm into Jason's chest. Whack. Jason hit the mat. Hard. He coughed. The wind was knocked out of him. Rex stood tall over him, flexing again. "This your action hero? This is your tough guy," he shouted. The fans didn't know what to do. Their cheers became whispers. Jason tried to get up. But Rex wasn't done. He picked Jason up and slammed him down with a huge suplex. Boom. The whole ring shook. Rex walked around the ring like a champion. "Hollywood soft," he yelled, pointing down at Jason. The announcers talked softly. "Jason's in big trouble," one said. "This isn't a movie set," said another. "Rex is the real deal." And Rex? He was just getting started. Jason rolled to the side, holding his ribs. He had been in lots of fights before many times, but this time it was different. Rex was bigger, stronger, and angry. He was fighting like he had something to prove. He wanted to win badly. Rex walked toward Jason with a big smile on his face. "What's wrong, tough guy?" Rex said, laughing. "Looking for the director? Forgot your lines." Rex grabbed Jason and pulled him up roughly. He didn't care if it hurt. Then he threw Jason into the ropes. Jason bounced back like a ball, and Rex jumped at him. Bam! Rex hit him with a big arm across the chest, a move called a clothesline. Jason spun and fell to the ground like a crash dummy in a car test. Some people in the crowd looked away. Others sat down, quiet. The kids who had been cheering for Jason stopped yelling. Now their faces were full of worry. Jason didn't get up right away. He stayed on one knee, breathing really hard. Sweat ran down the side of his face. Rex bent down with a microphone in his hand. "This is your hero," he said loudly. "This is the guy who plays the bad guys in movies." The crowd stayed silent. No cheers, no boos, just quiet. Jason's chest went up and down slowly. He wasn't talking. He wasn't moving much. He was thinking, planning. Rex got even more full of himself. He smiled and walked toward Jason, ready to throw him again. But Jason wasn't going to let that happen. Suddenly, Jason jumped up. He hit Rex in the ribs with a sharp elbow. Rex groaned in pain. Jason hit him again, this time under the chin. Rex's head snapped back. The crowd made noise now. People sat up straight. Jason ducked under Rex's wild punch and drove his knee into Rex's stomach. Rex bent over from the hit. Crack. Jason hit him with an uppercut, a fast punch that comes up from below. Rex stumbled backward. 1 step. 2 steps. 3 steps. The whole arena lit up with cheers. Jason. 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 Jason didn't smile or wave. He didn't try to show off. He just stood in a ready pose. His feet were apart. His hands were up. He looked calm. There was blood on his lip, but his eyes looked steady. He was ready. Rex growled and ran toward Jason. But Jason moved to the side, grabbed Rex's arm, and spun him over his hip. It was a judo move. Rex hit the mat with a loud thud. The teenagers jumped up and screamed with joy. Jason didn't strike a pose. He didn't act like a hero in a movie. He just got into position again, breathing slowly, watching. Rex lay on the mat blinking. He looked confused for the first time. He wasn't the strong, scary guy anymore. The crowd was still cheering, but something changed. They could see Jason was doing something different. He wasn't just fighting. He was thinking, planning every move. Rex got up again, face red, looking angry. He looked like a big angry bull now. He ran at Jason with a punch. Jason didn't run away. He leaned back just a little bit. The punch missed. In that same moment, Jason kicked Rex in the leg. It was fast and hit the perfect spot. Rex tripped a little. Jason stepped to the side and hit Rex in the ribs again, the same spot as before. Rex made a sound like ugh, and held his side. Jason looked like a robot now. A smart robot. He moved perfectly. He wasn't fighting wild. He was fighting smart. The crowd stood up again, amazed. One of the announcers whispered into the microphone, "He's not just fighting. He's reading Rex like a book." Rex tried to run at Jason again. This time he tried a big tackle. But Jason spun around and grabbed Rex's shoulders. Then he pushed Rex into the corner of the ring, the turnbuckle. Bang. Rex's face hit the turnbuckle hard. The sound echoed around the whole arena. Rex stumbled backward. Jason was ready. He hit Rex in the side with a strong punch to the liver. Rex froze. Then he dropped down to one knee. He couldn't breathe. Jason circled around him slowly. He didn't rush to finish the fight. Every punch, every move, was perfect. It looked like he had watched Rex for years and knew all his secrets. Rex looked up, dazed. His eyes were foggy. The crowd knew now. Jason wasn't lucky. He wasn't just acting cool. He was winning because he was in charge. He was in control. Rex stood up again. He was sweaty. His mouth was open. He was breathing fast. He didn't look strong anymore. He looked scared and shaky. But scared people can still be dangerous. Suddenly, Rex pulled a metal chair from under the ring. It was hidden there, like in the stories. The crowd gasped. That was cheating. The referee ran toward Rex to stop him, but Rex pushed him away with one big arm. Jason didn't run. He didn't look scared. He stood in the middle of the ring, watching. Rex raised the chair like he wanted to smash it. He ran at Jason. But Jason moved calmly to the side. He grabbed Rex's wrist, twisted it, and the chair fell to the ground with a clang. Before Rex could do anything else, Jason kicked his leg and knocked him flat on his back. The crowd went wild. Jason didn't stop. Rex got to his hands and knees, but Jason kicked him in the shoulder, knocking him over again. Then he kneed him in the ribs. Then an elbow to the side of the head. Every move was fast and perfect. Rex looked like a robot that had broken down. He still had power, but he couldn't use it right. He swung a wild punch. Jason ducked and hit him in the stomach twice. Quick little punches, but they hurt. Rex gasped. His legs started to shake. A kid in the front row yelled, "You're done, Juggernaut." Jason didn't smile. He didn't say anything. He just kept going. Rex reached for him again. Jason spun behind him and pushed his shoulder, making Rex bounce off the ropes. As Rex came back, Jason kicked his leg again, this time with a super fast sidekick. Rex hit the mat. Hard. This time, he didn't get up quickly. He groaned. His hands reached out for the ropes, not to fight, but to crawl away. Jason stood in the middle of the ring, calm. He was breathing slowly. He looked like a knight or a quiet warrior. Rex had always been the big talker, the loud one, the one who acted like a king. But now he was on the ground. And Jason had taken him apart piece by piece. The crowd saw it. They knew. Rex wasn't the real hero. He just talked big. Jason had shown them the truth, without even saying a word. Rex got up one more time. He looked terrible. His mouth was bleeding. His eyes were wild. His chest went up and down fast. He was angry. He was tired. He screamed at the top of his lungs and ran one last time, trying to hit Jason with everything he had. But Jason didn't flinch. He stood still. When Rex swung, Jason grabbed his arm. Crack. Jason twisted Rex's arm behind his back. It hurt badly. Rex yelled. His legs kicked. His back bent sideways. Jason pulled harder. Then whoosh, Jason spun him around, knocked Rex off balance, and kneed the back of his leg. Rex dropped to the ground again, helpless. Everyone in the arena gasped. Jason didn't stop yet. He leaned down and pulled the arm even tighter. Rex's body shook. He slapped the ground once, twice, trying to say, "I give up." But Jason didn't end it like that. He let go of the arm. Rex dropped forward, breathing like he had run 10 miles. Then, bam! Jason threw one last punch. A big right hook. It hit Rex right in the jaw. Rex's head snapped to the side. His body fell like a sack of rocks. He didn't move. He didn't even twitch. The whole place went silent for 1 second. Then it exploded. People screamed. They jumped up. They clapped and yelled and hugged each other. The teens were high-fiving. Some people cried with joy. Even the announcers didn't speak at first. Then one of them whispered, "He's out. The Juggernaut is out." Jason stood tall over Rex, who was lying on the ground. Rex wasn't moving. His chest went up and down slowly. He had cuts and bruises all over, and he looked like he had been in a big fight. Jason had won. And he didn't win by luck or a surprise move. He won because he was smart, fast, and strong. Jason didn't just wrestle. He made a point. This wasn't pretend wrestling or a silly trick. This was real. It was like a storm had come, and Jason was the one left standing. The crowd in the arena was very quiet for a second. Everyone was staring at what had just happened. Rex the Juggernaut Maddox, the big strong champion, was lying in the middle of the ring. His arms weren't moving. His face was scratched. His body was spread out like a fallen tree. Jason stood above him, calm and not shaking at all. He breathed slowly through his nose. He wasn't tired. He wasn't scared. His eyes looked around at all the people in the crowd. Then something happened. The fans started to stand up. They began to chant Jason's name over and over again, like it was a song they had always known. Jason. 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 It was loud. The referee waved his arms to end the match, but nobody could hear him. The crowd was way too loud. Jason walked over to the corner of the ring. There was a microphone sitting there. It was the same mic Rex had used before the match to make fun of Jason. Jason picked it up. It made a crackling sound. Then he lifted it to his mouth. He looked at Rex, still not moving. Then Jason looked at the announcers who were so surprised they didn't know what to say. Then he looked way up at the people in the top seats. They were cheering so loudly the whole place was shaking. Jason said 6 words. He didn't yell. He didn't scream. He spoke in a calm, clear voice. But everyone in the arena heard him. Heroes don't need spotlights, he said. Then he stopped. He waited a moment. The whole place was quiet for just a second. Then Jason looked right into the nearest camera and finished his sentence. They take them. That was it. The crowd went wild. It wasn't just clapping. It was like a giant explosion of noise. Kids were jumping up and down on chairs. Grown-ups were screaming and laughing. Phones were out everywhere recording the moment. On social media, people started posting clips and photos right away. Jason dropped the microphone. He didn't throw it. He just let it fall like it didn't matter anymore. He didn't stay to talk. He didn't wait for someone to lift his hand. He didn't wave or smile. He just turned around, his jaw tight, his shoulders strong, and walked slowly to the edge of the ring. The announcers tried to say something, but their voices were lost in the huge roar of the fans. Jason stepped through the ropes and headed up the ramp that led out of the ring. The big bright lights followed him as he walked. But he wasn't the champion getting all the attention. The last thing people saw before he left was Rex, still lying there, not moving, with a belt next to him forgotten. Then Jason was gone. As soon as he disappeared behind the curtain, the whole arena got even louder. The lights went down a little, but the cheering got even crazier. Earlier, a group of teens had been cheering for Rex and yelling STM. For Smash the Mountain. But now even they had changed sides. Now everyone in the crowd was shouting together. STM. 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 It wasn't about Rex anymore. Now, Smash the Mountain belonged to Jason. The chant filled the whole place. Some fans hit the metal gates near the ring. Others were crying because they felt like they had just watched something special. It was more than a match. It was a moment they'd never forget. Rex still hadn't moved. 2 medics came into the ring, walking carefully and quietly. Another referee knelt beside Rex. His title belt was off to the side. No one even looked at it now. It wasn't important. Rex hadn't just lost the match. He lost in a way that showed he wasn't the strongest anymore. The man who was supposed to be unbeatable had been totally beaten. And everyone had seen it happen. People in the highest seats shouted down. That's what real looks like. A camera zoomed in on one fan, an old man with gray hair. He was laughing and shaking his head like he couldn't believe what he just saw. Hollywood? That man's reality, he said. Backstage, it was like a storm had hit. Everyone was running around. Reporters were talking fast. Cameramen were filming everything. Some people whispered like something magical had just happened. Jason wasn't there anymore. No one could find him. But Rex was there. He was sitting in a folding chair. Medics were around him. A towel was on his mouth where there was a cut. He had blood dried on his lip. His eyes looked far away, like he couldn't believe what happened. Reporters crowded around him. Rex, what happened out there? Do you regret calling out Jason? Was he tougher than you thought? Rex said nothing. Someone tried to hand him a microphone to say something to the fans watching backstage. He pushed it away. Then he stood up. He was limping. His face was red. His jaw was tight. He looked mad, but more than that, he looked embarrassed. He didn't say a word. He just walked away down the hallway. It wasn't the walk of someone who was angry for losing. It was the walk of someone who finally understood. He had brought all the attention, but Jason took it. Now Rex wouldn't be remembered as a great champ. People would remember him as the man Jason beat with no words, just power. Meanwhile, in a quiet hallway near where fans were leaving, Jason stood alone. The same group of teenagers who had cheered for him during the match had run to find him. They begged the security guard to let them see him. Jason looked at them and gave a small nod. The teens ran to him, full of excitement. They gave him everything they had, phones, shirts, ticket stubs, and Jason signed them all. He didn't make a speech. He didn't shout or act like a hero. He just gave a small smile and said, "You boys got heart." One boy, maybe 14 years old, looked up at him and said, "You're the real deal. You're what they all pretend to be." Jason smiled again. "Remember that," he said, gently patting the kid's shoulder. Then he gave the group one of his gloves. The glove had scratches and marks from the fight. He signed it and handed it over. Then he walked out the side door, into the night. No reporters. No bright lights. Just Jason, leaving quietly like a legend. But even before Jason got to the parking lot, the internet had exploded. People started sharing videos of the match. The name Statham destroys Juggernaut started trending. Someone posted a slow-motion video of the final punch with dramatic music. In just 10 minutes, it had over 100,000 likes. Everyone was talking about it. Sports shows, podcasts, YouTubers, and fans were all saying the same thing. That wasn't just wrestling. That was real. There were memes. There were reaction videos. There were people making art and shirts with Jason's final pose. He was everywhere. And in every video and every story, Jason was the same, calm, powerful, and real. He didn't yell. He didn't brag. He didn't need to. He just stood there, breathing hard, showing the world that he didn't have to prove anything. Because he already had. In a world where people make lots of noise and try to look tough, Jason showed something different. Real strength doesn't need to be loud. Real fighters don't need to scream. They don't need to pose. And they don't need to tell the world how great they are. They just show it. Jason didn't chase the spotlight. But that night, it came to him anyway. He didn't roar or flex. He moved carefully, fought smart, and let his actions speak. Because being brave isn't about talking big before a match. It's about who stands up when the final punch is thrown. Rex had the crowd, the microphone, and the title belt. But Jason had something bigger. Presence. And that presence changed everything. He reminded every kid in the crowd, every fan in the nosebleeds, and every person watching at home that true strength doesn't come from noise. It comes from being calm. From being focused. From being real. And when the big moment came, Jason didn't talk. He delivered. Quietly. Perfectly. Completely. That night, people might forget what Rex said. They might even forget who had the title belt. But no one would forget the moment Silence walked into the ring and made more noise than anyone else. Because some people chase the spotlight. But others? They become it. If you enjoyed this story, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next thrilling adventure or mysterious twist. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.